Well,
What was that like?
He was very attractive, but at that time I was still in my storm.
Yeah, you're
and
going through it. So
there was nothing, you're not looking for anything. You're just like, wow, what a handsome guy.
Right.
You know?
Nice
And he had
guy,
an
comes from
awesome
the-
personality.
He's got a good demeanor.
Yeah, and it was just like friend chit chat. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
how are you? And they knew my kids first.
Right.
So, he would start talking about my kids. And I'm like, well, man,
Right.
you really were out there playing with them and
Yeah.
doing things. And hey, Coach Eddy,
Doing Coach Eddy doing man stuff.
Exactly. So it was just a breath of fresh air to have my kids around. Number one, a Christian-based school,
Right.
but then also a family who was literally hands-on.
Right.
So then
That's all
continue-
God too, because
100.
because they say, sometimes TV preaching, they're like, oh, you're wasting your time. Or they're fake. It changed your life if you wouldn't have started listening and seeing in the local church.
100%.
And then how God has things planned, how we think something is a mess, how he'll turn around bad and make it for good.
Oh, yeah.
You found
100.
a Christian place
Yeah,
to
for
take
sure.
your kids with a family that is a strong unit. So
right. And I wasn't even
right.
in that world.
Right.
I
You
wasn't
weren't
even
even
thinking
thinking
about
that.
God
Yeah.
and doing any of that.
that's how God does it.
So
Yeah.
for a couple of years, we just had them at the school.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2 years there at the school. And then he and I kind of started to build a little confidence when we started to talk about each other's storm that we were going through.
Right.
And it was
Right.
like, whoa, because I talked about it to nobody.
Right.
I mean, my mom and dad are probably the only two people who knew, maybe a best friend, but it was
Right.
like, I didn't want to tell anybody because
Right.
you're embarrassed.
Yeah.
You're like, how am I going to do
You
this?
feel
I
like
have
a
young
failure.
kids.
I can't believe I had one shot at this and look at this.
Right.
And the devil starts telling you that in your brain too.
Well, and then you're going, for the kids, just do it, just do
Yeah.
it,
Suck it
make
up.
it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're going, but what about me?
Right.
Because how can I be the best mom I can be?
Yeah.
And
If
for,
I'm-
Get lost.
Yeah.
for a
you lose
relationship
yourself.
to change, and sometimes Christians, this is just for anybody out there, that says, oh, you're not supposed to remarry, divorce. There's got to be two people wanting to change, and there's got to be two people putting in the work. So that's sometimes
Well, the
divorce
Bible makes
happens.
it clear, Dave,
Right.
where how can two, walk unless they agree?
Exactly.
So for us, for all four
Right.
of us, we had relationships prior that didn't
Right.
agree
Yeah.
with us and line up. Like, her now ex wanted to go to the home daycare. She didn't,
Right.
so
You're lying. Yeah.
it was like, well, I guess we'll just have to go there. And then when it didn't work out because her gut and her
That was probably a
intuition,
nudge from God initially
Well, that was
to
the
me,
Holy
which I
Spirit.
didn't know.
Starting
Exactly.
to tell her, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
and then led her, to the school. God orders your steps.
yeah.
So
exactly.
for me, I remember seeing her walk
Yeah.
into the
How's
school.
that go?
And I had the Ozzy Brothers theme song playing in my head.
Right.
It was like, who's that lady?
And you were going through your thing too, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I filed already, man. I
You were
was
going.
knee deep, man. I was fighting for custody of the kids.
Right. You were already in it. So it isn't like you were living home, you were living there. You were already filed, going
yeah.
through it, been going on
Man,
for a while.
For a while. It
Right,
was
yeah.
it was horrible, man.
Yeah.
I never wish any of those kind of storms that
Yeah.
hit relationships when
Right.
it comes down to divorce. But it happens. People
Yeah.
get, like you mentioned, bitter and things happen
Yeah.
and there's conflict and turmoil. When after the storm is clear and you look back at it,
You're like,
both parties kind of go like, yo, like,
man.
why?
And,
Like,
and
come on,
forgiveness
you know what I mean?
isn't for them. Forgiveness is for you.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I had to learn
Yeah.
that in my life,
Yeah.
even in relationships or whatever. Once you forgive people, then you're like, you know what?
Oh man.
I see what you were doing, God. But
Right.
you being kind of a because I went through this in the music thing, being a Christian rapper. Oh, he got divorced, and you know what I
Oh,
mean.
man, I was
dude,
mortified to share my
and-
story.
Yeah, you're like, man, I can't. So
Yeah.
just so you know, he was already divorced and going for custody. It ain't like, you know what I mean.
And I had
Not that we care what you think, but I'm sure.
I had a lot of friends of mine that had my back and were, helping me get back on the horse, even
Right.
though I didn't want to ride again. I was
Right.
like, nah, I don't want to love again. I'm good. I'm focusing on my kids.
Mhm.
I'm going to build this house for me and mine. I'm going to, get into working, the whole
Right.
nine. Like I was so far removed from
Focus.
So,
from
yeah, let
love
me
or
set it.
thinking about that.
So you're working at the daycare, your parents are at school,
Yep.
parents' school, and that's what you were doing. You wasn't doing any music because you were going through the storm,
yeah,
right?
I stopped the music thing.
Mhm.
I just literally focused
On your
rebuilding
kids and trying to
Yep.
get custody and,
Yep.
and
And
people
fighting
who's
for
never
custody.
been through it. Eddie probably wasn't clocking lots of money because he was trying to pay to fight for his kids.
That was terrible.
And people
It
don't
was
understand it unless they've been through it.
Yeah.
And a father can fight and get his kids. you know?
So on that, I really got to appreciate other fathers. Not that I give them a pass or that I, approve of it or anything like that, but I understand why some dads bow out.
I've done it myself early in life.
Because the woman, buries them in paperwork and money
and have
legal fees, and the dads, all the dads want to do is spend time with their kids, and they can't because they have this woman that's holding the kids back from the dad. And the dad goes, yo, I don't got it like that. Like I'm barely making ends meet. And now for me to see my kids, I got to pony up what?
Yes.
So I'm so thankful for God and his favor, man. Big shout out to Green Spoon and Martyr, man. Hey, Michael, I love you. You saved my life. I tell you that 1,000 times over and then some, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, and even that relationship's so cool because my brother was, shout out Bobby, I love you, boy. He was starting kicker for the Yukon Huskies, and his roommate was Ellis, and he was a football player as well.
Right.
So they were, thick as thieves, So I was helping Bobby reach Ellis and all of the Husky players in the locker room before they get on the field, motivating, music, different Bible verses, pointing to my brother, hey, why don't you spark a Bible, study, a group, don't call it like some churchy name, and call it journeyman, men on a journey together in their faith, building life, doing life, the whole nine. So it was really cool. So while I was pouring into Michael's son, I didn't realize that later in life I would need the father to pour into me.
Right?
You
know what I mean?
It's all God stuff.
So it was so cool, man. That we were trying to do something on the music front because he goes, "Yo, man, you just got picked up by ESPN. That's a great look." They picked up "There Go That Man" for the theme song of the NBA. Well, to be played in the NBA Finals, and then the theme song of the NBA Draft. And he's like, man, you just need a leg up. You just need to push, bro. You got all the goods, so I'm going to set you up, And the next phone call I gave him to him, I said, hey, man, Mr. Martin, I appreciate you, but I need you to actually look out for me in another way.
Right.
I need to save my life and my kids. I need to do this. I'm filing for divorce. And he goes, okay. So anyways, I have been so appreciative for God's favor and relationships that you never know how they intertwine and the reasons for it. So when when we came together, it was just a friendship, which was cool because it was just like a vibe. Like, okay, I thought she was hot and all this. Get out. Like I'm not gonna deny that. I didn't look at her going like, no, she's fine.
Right.
Okay.
I know how it goes over here on this side.
But at the same time, I'm a man. I can give credit to women. Hey, you look, beautiful.
Yeah. I give credit to a guy. Hey, good looking guy. Like, I do, man. When a good looking couple comes in.
You just don't go all the way there.
Yeah, I'm like, I like them eyes over there. They got them light eyes.
Sugar in the tank.
So it helped me and my confidence to be able to be around a woman that had strong back as well. Right. She was confident. She was put together.
I put on a good persona. At first because I was broken inside.
Well, yeah, you were broken inside, but sometimes we get, just because you were going through and you're broken don't mean you wasn't a strong person.
Correct.
Because some people that are broken can't, they ain't strong at all. So they can't, they're broken, right? You know what I mean?
She just wasn't vulnerable enough to share her story.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
which a lot of women just love to share their story.
So she kept poaching me to hear more of my story. Like, how'd you do it? Like, wait a minute, you're a single dad. You're like hyper focused on you. And
this all
kids.
was at the school, like picking up the kids, dropping off.
Just
casually.
That time,
like
it wasn't like
Eddie's
it was
like,
hours. It was never outside.
You got
of school.
a flat.
Yeah.
He's gonna be here for a while. I'll change it. I'll change it.
And I talked to other, parents at the school too.
Right.
It wasn't like I only targeted her. Like that was just a natural thing for me. I was in the business of being around families.
Right.
So, I'm pouring into the
Taking
kids. Let me pour into, you as well. Just find out what's going on, this, that, and the other. So little by little, we started realizing, hey, there's a connection here that is really cool.
Right.
And, as she was going through her storm and I was going through mine, we just caught a vibe for each other and kept on building on it. And she kept on trying to break Stone Cold Steve Austin's heart. I wasn't letting her. I was like, nah. I can look in your eyes and tell you want to say something,
I see,
but I don't want to hear it right now.
So So you're going through your divorce, right? You're going through
Which
it.
was very fast
and you've got
and
two
easy.
kids.
Hers ended fast.
What are your
mine
kids'
did.
ages and names?
So
we give them props.
Maxon he is almost 10. He'll be 10 in September, and Harper just turned 7.
And Harper was 7, or is 7.
It's 7
10
now.
and 7 now.
Right.
And they were
back then. It was
babies then. I mean,
5 and 3,
whatever,
5 and 2.5.
And then your 2 girls,
Ava and Olivia. So man. When I filed for divorce, Olivia wasn't even.
They were babies, right?
Yeah, Ava was 2.
Little. Yeah, that's still bad.
Yeah.
I consider to like 4 babies.
I know,
Like,
it's
that was
true.
4 babies. And so
it was cool because when we met, the kids were, starting to get a little older, so we really allowed the kids to kind of grow up with us,
right?
Together in each other's lives in some form of fashion,
Right.
So when we actually decided to take it to the next step,
right?
It was very easy for the kids because they already knew.
The easy transition.
Well, yeah, they play with each other at school.
Right.
Like
they're
Ava and
together all
Maxon
the
were in the
time.
same class.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't. It was not any different to them.
So you're going through the storm, divorce. You got 2 little kids. You're going through a storm. Guy
coming out.
2 little kids.
I didn't get out of the storm for a while.
Yeah, for a long time. And you took the back seat, man, because when I say that, I knew you're doing something. Then I'd be like, I wonder whatever happened to Raw Servant. You know what I mean? And then, I didn't see that for long. And then the first thing I saw was, when your car and you had the family in it. And I was like, oh, there he is. Mm-hmm. And just being a dude from what I've been through, I was like, he's got 2 kids in there. He's got his 2 kids. Those are his kids. The whole thing of the song, he's going to win.
Right.
And he's got the gas. Ain't no brakes, right? You got your whole family in there. Yep. I'm like, that was a rocket scientist. I might have dabbled in it a little bit. Probably went through a divorce, and this is his song. Like, hey, bro, I'm still here.
That was my anthem. That was after we finalized,
right?
And it was wild because 2020 was the year of COVID,
right?
So I got divorced, and I was the last case that day before the whole court system shut
my gosh.
down.
If it would have shut down, you would have been stuck forever, bro.
So I was so thankful. I was like, wow, so it's finally done. You know what I mean? So, and as I'm living and moving on, all of a sudden inspiration starts hitting. And one day I was sitting at the little art table. And you've been bottling
that, going through all that.
Oh, too, yeah, man. It was torture. But anyways, so I was at the house with the girls, and we were sitting there just having time together. I was watching sports, and they were coloring on the table, so I decided to sit with them while they were coloring, and I played a beat. And as I'm playing the beat, all of a sudden I came up with
that one.
Never lose, only win. And I go, ooh, all right, cool.
I love
like
that lyric.
And
that Eddy Puyol wrote.
Then all of a sudden I got that all gas, no brakes.
Come on.
Another lyric that Eddy Puyol wrote.
So once it all started coming together, I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. And then I just kept on writing. And then my youngest, Olivia, all of a sudden started going, all gas,
no brakes.
That's when you know you got it.
That's when you know it.
That's
how we did Jesus.
Yep.
I looked at her and I go, you like that, babe? And she goes, yeah, Dad.
Yeah.
So I go, okay, cool. So I took it serious. When it came down to putting the video together, I was like, I want to show people what's really going on and what life really looks like in my world.
Right.
And I brought my whole family together. And what people don't know is that this woman to my right was right next to me on the set, playing the sidelines,
shooting those behind-the-scene videos,
being there for the babies, the whole 9. And there was so many cool parts of the song that I got to really share and showcase. So I got to have my dad in there, my mom in there, my brother, my sister,
which
my
I love
kids.
That because you're family oriented. And Bang Bang Baby too.
Right.
That's my jam.
Yo,
Bang Bang Baby. The whole family's in it
too.
Bang
Bang Baby was so awesome to put together, but the video was by far, like, to me, the coolest thing.
Because everybody's right. It was just cool
because
vibe.
It was just fun.
Right.
But what people didn't understand is there was a storm during the shoot.
Right.
So just like life has storms all the time. If you focus on the storm, you'll get caught up into it.
That's right.
So
you gotta keep moving.
In Florida, at least South Florida, we don't have a lot of tornadoes. We got hurricanes, we don't got a lot of tornadoes. Yes. Well, lo and behold, this weekend that we set already in the future, we're going to shoot a video this day. We don't have the kids. Her girlfriends are coming down from Ohio. We're going to have a great time. We're going to get them into it. We're just going to party, celebrate, and just do life. all of a sudden that day, there's a brewing
You know about
storm.
tornadoes, though.
Oh, I do, big time.
North.
Yeah.
Brewing storm
Midwest.
happening, and I'm going, oh wow. So I'm looking at the app, and I'm going, okay, well, we got a pocket here. Why don't we go hit it? And I go, man, the lighting's a little too high key.
Right.
All right, we'll just wait it out. So
and we're on a golf course.
Yes,
like, hello.
right.
With iron.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
This
I'd
girl's
be
been
out,
struck by lightning. She would left right there.
We're like, I love you, Eddie, but I'm out.
She'd have been like, hey, see you later. Bang, bang, baby.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
In the car.
we go to the local golf course, man. Shout out North Palm Beach community. You know, the whole vibe, man.
Yeah,
I love the
cool.
village.
It was cool.
So
Yeah.
we were over there doing our thing, and we're on hole 1. Everybody tees off. We get some cool shots. It's a vibe.
Right,
We're like,
right,
all right, we're
right.
gonna do this, right?
It's windy.
And my dad's like, all right, so we're gonna like actually play, right? I go, yeah, of course, Alo. He goes, no, like we're gonna like play.
We're gonna
Like,
play.
Right.
I'm like, oh,
keep score play.
you want to do like all 18 holes? I don't know if we got all by that time.
Right.
But
How about 9?
You're like,
Well,
buddy,
he
I'm
golfs 3
paying for
times a
this.
week, though,
I'm
so he
paying
was there
for
to
this.
golf.
Oh,
I'm
he's
paying for
legit.
this.
Yeah, he's there.
It was for real. It was for real.
I like your music video, but I'm golfing.
Yeah, it's cool.
So
playing.
we get off and we're on the green and it's starting to really
Get it.
spit.
Yeah.
And the sprinklers are turning a little heavier and the siren goes off. Wow. I go,
man.
okay, lightning.
All my girlfriends from Ohio are looking for the safe room in this Florida house. And I'm going, we don't have one.
don't
I
have
guess
that.
get to the pantry. That was
Right,
the only thing with no
whatever. That's
window.
Yeah. So I
Yeah, they
looked-
don't have
I-
basements here like we do.
Right.
I looked at Will, who was shooting the video, and he was in the cart with Bobby, my brother, and my buddy Adam Jones was with me, and we're
Right.
sitting there cruising. So I go, hey, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's like, I'm out of here. Of course, you know, he's like the mayor of the town, so
Right.
he's out,
right,
man.
right.
He's like, nah, bro, they're calling for us. I'm going. I go, okay, well, we're gonna keep shooting. So we end up going off of 2, and I go, we don't have enough. Let's go on 3 because 3's a par 5 and it's a long par 5. So
Right.
I know at least some of the things that we
You can
talked
get some
about
stuff
Yeah.
for
we
the-
can do.
You can get some B-roll.
B-roll.
Mhm.
It wasn't
That was
B-roll.
the whole
there's no
video.
B-roll. This is
It
a video.
That
was
was
the
legit.
actual video.
Right.
Like me rapping in the golf cart
The whole time.
all happened when the storm
Right
was
then.
brewing to the west,
crazy.
coming in on us. And we took 1 trip up, 1 trip down. I
And
mean,
down.
talking about one hit
you
wonder. That was
killed
all
it.
you
Good
had.
job.
So I took 1 take up, 1 take back.
Wow.
Everything you caught was all live. Whatever I did, I did. It was like, this is all we got. Run and gun shoot. Like, product of that.
Right.
So I just did it.
Right.
And we get done. I go, okay, cool. We went to 18 and I said, let's just, mess around a little bit on the green. So we're kind of swagging. This is still brewing. I mean, it's getting heavy. It's getting closer. But we're right there close enough to the clubhouse that if we got to run in, no big deal.
Cool, right.
So we kept on going. And I said, of course, listen, God, I trust you with breath. I trust you for the rest. So I know you got this and you'll protect us. I got a little overzealous though, because I wanted to shoot a little bit more.
This is a music video. We paid for it.
The lightning started striking. Pew, 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 pew. And I go, hey, listen, guys, I ain't one to
Punk out, but we got to go.
Get a little fearful, punk out, but I'm out.
It's time.
We got enough. I looked at Will. So, Will, you think we got enough? He said, we got enough.
You got enough.
And
You
I
did a
said-
good job with only working with that, man.
So
man.
I said, well, check this out. I said, well, do you think we need any more? He goes, if we can get out just a little bit more, like more of the golfing actual match and shooting, that'll be great. So the tornado literally hit a mile from the golf course after we got done shooting.
I mean,
Wow.
So we left.
That's crazy.
a mile.
The window was just enough time. We leave, tornado strikes, bam. And I'm going,
Well, in the country club, they're showing us videos, like people that were
They're
at the
hitting it.
bar.
Right.
They're like, look what happened.
I'm
And
like-
I'm going, you were on the golf course.
I'm like, if that ain't
With the
my life,
iron thing in your hand.
Right.
if I'm like,
The
if that ain't-
storm,
if
bro.
that,
Come
I'm
on.
like, if
The
that ain't my
storm.
life, that I have literally had so much tenacity just to ram doors down and just bust hinges open and going, I ain't stopping. I'm fulfilling my goal and my dream, like the Puyols.
Storm
say,
45,
man.
baby.
Hey, like the
Storm
Puyols say, that's
45,
right.
baby.
Finish what you started. You know what I mean? So I go
Right.
after it, and I did. I go, we're here on mission. We're going to complete this mission, and then we'll be done. So I looked at Will. What do we need? And he goes, if we could do that, I said, well, we ain't gonna do it more today because the course is shut.
Yeah, it's
I said,
done.
I'll get us out first thing in the morning. So he had to fly out. So we literally are shooting the rest of the video the next morning,
Early.
Wow.
which is tough to match coloring, but it was overcast both days.
Right.
It was
So
like
so we can make it. Not enough for anybody's going to know.
Right. And it was crazy how God set it up. I was like, man, you work all things together. Now, mind you, it's spitting a little bit. It's windy.
Well, that's okay.
I would have never thought that.
But you would have never
And I've watched it.
And then we ended off the video in like total Hollywood fashion.
Right.
And it was a real one take. My dad makes this long, like 30-foot putt. I mean, he just went for it. And we were all like, okay, here he goes. And it starts going. I go, yo, that one's going to go in.
Right.
And it dropped. And we're all like, yeah. It was so cool, man.
I like knowing that when I watch it now.
So when you see it, that was real life. And whenever I think about that, I go, if that doesn't body life in its realest form, storms can be brewing all around you. Right. You may not know what's going on, which way to go, what direction, you should be focusing on. But if you anchor your life to God and just look at him and focus on him, everything works out.
Right.
Wow.
Storms dissipate, they leave. The peace comes back, you know what I mean? You get to live again, breathe again, and have that confidence again.
So and then another storm comes.
And another storm comes.
That's just the way it is. It's like here. It stormed yesterday, then it was nice, and it stormed again. So, okay, so coming in, now you guys are talking and dating, getting back to it. Going through your divorce, that's good. It's gone now. I don't want to make light of it because I know there's so much of it.
No, it actually, I'm grateful it was very quick.
Yeah, it got quick. Yeah. Yours is done now, and because I know the story,
how the story is.
Now you guys are courting. That's what we'll call it. That's what the Amish call it, courting.
Now you're Amish?
Now you guys are
whatever.
But,
looks good on you.
But you guys are doing your thing.
What makes an ordinary day extraordinary? It's not about holding on to what you know. It's about letting go. Take the leap beyond the familiar. Find what you're searching for. Here's to connection, to exploration, to being alive in the moment. That's what makes a day extraordinary. Behind every ripple and every splash, something refreshing is brewing.
Eddy is something, obviously, because, I can only speak like Jahnna was somebody who supported me and loved me and everything that I never had. So you're seeing an Eddy, a different kind of man. That's what I'm saying. You're seeing a different kind of man, and you're like, man, okay, God. Now you're getting some spirituality because you're around it, right? Now you're going to church. Now you're involved, and you know what he's about and his family's about.
Different boxes were being checked.
Yeah,
big time.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Well, and it was nice too because he was obviously surrounded by faith, and he went to church and believed in God for a while.
Exactly.
And I was very new.
Right.
So as the divorces are done, before the real courtship kind of started, I randomly take my kids to church one day because I had been watching online.
Right.
And I see him in the auditorium, and he's like, "Whoa, hey, you're here!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." Now we didn't sit by each other. I was in my own
innocent
thing,
friendship stuff,
and he was in his, and it was like, wow. But it was so nice that not only did we see it at the school where my kids are, praying before food, which I never had them do because that wasn't my life.
That didn't do it. Yeah.
And then now I have my kids in the four walls, and then I'm seeing him inside on a different element because we never saw each other outside of the school.
Right.
And it just was like, wow, there are so many check boxes or positives. He is a very strong man. He's very faith driven. He's very handsome.
Right.
He was a great dad. He was just a great dad, and he was very hands on.
That's what I'm saying. A different man, and I don't know the other guy. I don't care to, but I'm saying, well, I'm not trying. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real.
I'm with you.
Ain't no fake on Relentless Hope Podcast. Is there, Diana? We keep it real. You awake over there? No.
Shout out, Diana.
That's
what
right,
up,
Diana.
Girl?
She's like, yeah. Hey, I promise it was only 2 drops. There wasn't nothing in my thing when I spilled that. Tim Jarrett. Tim Jarrett. But so he's checking boxes
that I
of a godly man.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And again, I don't know the other dude. But yeah. Family based, hands-on with the kids, right? Morals, right? Because listen, you heard before the courtship, Eddy was a single man, good-looking man. you're a single, pretty girl going through divorces. We all know how that kind of stuff can go, right? You're not sitting by each other, which shows there's some morals there and respect there.
Now, I'm sure people had their opinions.
Well, they can think whatever.
Let's
they
be
got
honest,
opinions.
because that's what I mean, you know, but it was like, it really wasn't that.
Even if you did, whether you did or you didn't, everything perfect, people are going to think and say whatever.
Correct.
But I'm saying, knowing that you're like, there's something different about this guy.
Correct.
And so now the courtship starts, the attraction starts, you're in church, you're seeing. You were more adapt to say, okay, this, as time went on, you know,
sure.
I'm scramming everything into it over the years, right?
Exactly.
Because Diana will be here till
Jesus
2026. No,
right.
But
it's going to be 3 episodes.
We'll chop it anyway. But
on episode 554.
Look, I got her some coffee.
I'm back again with my friends, and none of us have changed
we
clothes.
haven't left at all. Exactly.
But and we've got more clean, and so as it goes and it's getting closer, and you're knowing, okay, this can be something. Like, you know, the film, the attraction is one thing. Because I remember, you know, I thought, she's way out of my league from the beginning. I'm funny, but other than that, you know, and, you know, and as the attraction started, you know, we're both had our guards up, like, wait a minute, what are we going to do? I don't know if it's going to work. What if I mess it up?
Right.
My heart, and we start making, as I said last night, we make ourselves God in this situation. Even though we're trusting God, you're like, and I don't know if you said this or not, I'm just I don't need to get involved in this because this ain't going to happen to me again. I done been through it. I'm cool doing my thing.
Man,
so
I'm telling you,
Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
Man,
and you were like, what's going on with this guy?
Are you kidding me?
Right?
I have little flutters in my heart. You can see it in my
face. He did too.
I just didn't want to show him.
But he was just keeping them under wraps.
I'm way more emotional. I cry at the drop of a dime. I exude, you know, what I'm feeling. You can tell I'm feeling it. Like I am.
You're an emotional being, which is fine.
Yeah, I was given that, but sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad.
It's me too. So I'm an emotional person too. If I'm mad, you know it. If I'm sad, you know it.
Me too.
You know what I mean? If I don't like you, you know it. And if I like you, you know it. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't walk into a room and they go, oh, Dave, I'm just like, well, I don't like the dude. There's no need for me to go over there and sit by and talk to him, plagiarize his rhymes. You know what I mean? So why would I do that? I'll hang out with somebody who I like. Right? So,
100.
But,
so I'm showing it.
So you're showing it. Eddie's over here.
Yeah, because he said, "I see the look in your eyes."
Oh.
Right.
So he knew. Oh, he knew. But he was very, and I get it. I understand why. I mean, he was really, really hurt. And there are people out there that truly hurt other people. And
hurt people hurt people.
Exactly. So I'm going, I know, babe, but we're together and our dating, you know, and our kids are happy. They all get along. You know, the families get along because we all
it's working.
Everything
His
was
family
great.
loved you.
Right.
Right.
And he's like, I know, you know, I really think I like you. Excuse me, what? Excuse me, what?
Like me.
See, he's such a creative, slick writer. I would have thought he would have came up with something a little better.
Let's define like.
I love you, Eddie, but this one, I thought you would have came a little.
The bar said, I like it. I figured, you know.
I knew he'd make it back around to make it cool, but.
And I'm like, okay, you know, and so he would say it, and it would kind of crush my heart a little because I'm like, wow, that's all you feel? Because I'm feeling totally different. Is there something wrong with me? Because I'm like,
because you're attracted, not just him, you're attracted to the godly traits in him, which is a man. And you said it earlier, where women, you know, nothing against women, but a man is the one who carries the kid and the man. So what you're attracted to is something you never experienced.
Correct.
Was a godly man who could protect you, keep you safe, and give you security. Because a woman's number one thing is to be secure
100%.
And not just on Call of Duty. And a man's number one thing is to be respected and have the biggest cheerleader. This is my biggest cheerleader. And what do cheerleaders do? Even when they give you negativity in a good way, hold that line. Defense. They're not saying, hey, you suck. You're letting them run through. They're doing something positive.
Which I had. So I would look at her, you know, knowing, like picking her pocket, knowing, you know, kind of what she wanted to say and what she was feeling. And I'm going, I'm just waiting for the fire-breathing dragon to come out.
Yeah, you're waiting for the bottom to drop. That's how she was with me. And this is too good to be true.
She was like, what? Like, no, that's not I'm really my not MO. That's, but I'm going, well, I mean, I don't know. You could be. It could be your style.
You're keeping yourself protected.
Now, obviously, I felt otherwise, but like she said, I was so beat up.
You had that wall, bro.
That I go, nah. And it took.
You wasn't closing that umbrella. You know what I'm saying? From the storm.
And it took a lot of people in my world, our world, to come around me and go, like, they kept, you know, giving their stamps. and they were like, "Yo, man, she's dope. She's dope. Like, nah, I give that one. That she got my approval."
There might have been
Giving you
might have
confirmation.
been 4 stamps, I think, before I got the real "I love you."
Yeah,
my dad was
the
like,
people
"Yo,
that
don't
know
beat,
you
For sure.
He was like, "Son, don't mess this one up. You know what I mean? Or I'll beat your tail."
Right.
My mom was like, "I love this
mom was the
girl.
same way
She's
about Jahnna.
amazing."
Now, see, that's when you know.
Yeah.
When your mama.
When the mama
for
loves
sure.
it, it's good.
my kids adored her.
Well,
and
she
then,
had been around
In their lives.
the babies
Right.
since they were babies.
and then just my clique, apart from my brother, and my sister, just my clique, my crew,
The people that
kept
know
on
you.
going. Yo, man, she's dope. She's got a vibe. So
Yeah.
that's why I say,
Makes sense.
"Ain't
That's
that
all right.
baby? You
You
got
got
a vibe."
Makes sense. I love when it comes out.
Yes.
So now the I like yous, you got the 3 I like yous. It's going through. You're getting. When do you?
If I hear "I like you"
One more
We
time.
got a problem.
then that's the fire breathing dragon was like, I
Right.
better hear the other
When
L
did
word.
you say, "Okay, God, I love this girl"? Like, when did you start really getting to the part? Like, I mean, was there like a come to Jesus moment? Like, we had a come to Jesus moment at Cracker Barrel. It was
Yeah.
so romantic.
Right.
Cracker Barrel. I was like,
Baby, I love you.
baby.
No, it was not
it was not.
romantic. It
We were
was-
sitting there, and I'm
it's
like,
not.
I think I love you. But that was the moment
Yes.
when we were like, listen,
Right.
it's either gonna go. It can't keep going like this. Like,
Right.
For me,
it's time to start our life.
Yeah, for
type of
me,
thing.
what really got me to fall in love with Corinne and head over heels for her was when I was going through my life storm
Right.
and I was focusing really, truly just on my kids. And I
Right.
was like, all right, I'm good, whatever.
Right. It's cool.
My
It
kids,
flatters me a
my
little
kids,
bit.
man, they're number one. Like, I'm
That's right.
focused on them. I'm taking care of them. I'm rebuilding my life the whole nine. Yeah, I like you. You're cool, the whole nine. And I said, but you can come, around like when I don't have the kids or whatnot. And she's like, look, I'm kind of over that.
Right.
I really want to be here with you and do life with you. And she said something to me that was like the Jerry Maguire had you at hello
That's
kind of
the
moment.
point I'm looking for.
And she said to me, she says, look, if you and I don't work out, that's cool. But I really and truly want to show your girls what a real healthy mom looks like.
Did you hear that?
And I go, baby, I love you.
Right? That was what
And
it was.
I always want you to be right next to me.
Well, there was a life
'Cause
situation
together
that
we
was
make
going on. Though.
Music, like I said.
You had your kids full time.
Right.
I mean, he had a
And that's hard on a man.
He had a
I've been that
different
guy.
world. He had
I've
a
been
different
that
world
guy.
at that moment.
Yeah.
And it was like, but wait a minute, they should see what family is like. And I even put in there, even if you and I don't make it,
Right.
they still need to see that
You were
this
like,
is
"Oh, we're
life.
gonna
That
make
this
it."
is what a husband and a wife, even
This
though
is
we weren't
normal.
husband and a
Right.
wife, but this is what
A family,
That
a
is.
healthy family.
Mhm.
unit.
Correct.
She could tell what my kids needed as well.
Well,
just
girls, bro.
motherland's sake. And like she
It
was
is what
saying-
it is. You know what I mean?
Like she was saying, I mean, I fought 3 years to get 50-50, and then I turned around and get, full-time
Full.
custody, which
That's a
which
lot
was
on a guy, bro.
which was a miracle, miraculous. Thankful to God for it. So grateful for that time because it was great for the kids,
Right.
and respectfully and hopefully great for their mother as well because she
Mhm.
got to deal with her storm and
Right.
and,
Right.
and whatnot. No diss, no shots,
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I'm just
We all
more
need that
thankful.
time.
I'm just more thankful that the kids got to really be with dad and home, and
They
I got
needed
to
that
build
stability
bond.
right
Oh,
then,
yeah.
bro.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't know your ex, but I'm saying,
Yeah. Well, they
obviously
know
there was
dad's-
some things going on, so
Listen,
they needed
They
stability.
know dad's the rock. You know what I mean?
Same thing with
I'm
Mike.
here. I hold it down.
Well,
hold
her
it
now.
down.
And that's what the man's supposed to
That's
be.
what the
Right.
man's supposed to
So
do.
all four of our kids, know, like our house is this way. This is how we rock.
This is the Puyol.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
This the Puyol house is
Yep.
like this.
Yep.
I can't talk about the other houses,
Right.
but I know what we do in our house.
This
As
is
for-
what
as
we
for me
believe.
and my house.
We serve the
We
Lord.
serve the Lord.
Yep.
We're bold. We're unashamed. We're
That's
straight up. We look at you square in the face when we speak to you.
We're
what I mean?
honest.
We
This
open
is
the
what we do.
doors.
This is- yep.
We take care of
Same
each other.
thing.
We look after each other. We speak positive, not negative. Like there's so many pluses that we do as a family.
Right.
We stick together. We're for each other. We do things together. Like
Right.
all for one, one for all.
Right. And so now you get through. Now you get past
Now
the
I'm
thing you're
feeling
loving.
her.
Yeah. Now you're feeling her. Now it starts
Back
getting
to the
serious.
music.
Right.
Back to the
Yeah.
music with like Lil Rascal said. You
Yeah.
want to find out what's going on with Eddie.
Now
Press play.
Eddie's releasing some of that.
I
that
wrote
stuff,
I wrote
right?
the song To the Moon and I was like, this is like for my kids. And meanwhile, like we leave service church service on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
I had the song and I pressed play, and all of a sudden I came up with the song To the Moon, and I played it for her at brunch, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Meanwhile, she's like, "Did you just write a song for me?"
I know, like, is that really me? And then he would tell everybody that it's for his kids. And then his mom and sister go, "Oh, no.
That's for you.
My mom and sister
that
go,
is not a song for your kids."
You're like, we're not
for
for
your
song.
kids.
Yeah. And so now we're writing the songs.
I'm falling in love.
The
you know what I mean?
How do I call it? The new old Eddie. And when I say the new Eddie, you went from raw servant. Now,
Eddie Puyol really
now
came.
Eddie Puyol's coming because that was cool.
Heavy
that was cool,
time.
and that was great, and that was made you who you are, and musically, and did a lot of things. But now, I don't want to say raw servant was a kid, but you was young Eddie.
It was my moniker.
Yeah, and now
you're
you're a dad. You're grown.
Yeah,
you're going through that. So
business owner,
business owner, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Things are happening. So now you do the switch. You're starting to work on music again because now you got that vibe. You're getting that love, and now you're like, oh, it can be like this, right? Mm-hmm. And this is healthy. And so now, fast forward, you guys get married, right? But in a perfect world, you'd love to say, because we know a little bit, you get married because now you got yours, mine. There's other people, ours, right? Exactly. Everything's involved. Bring us to, and one of the reasons why we wanted to have you guys on here is because we just don't want to. It'd be cool to bring you in. We talk about your music. I love that, but we want couples on here.
Blended families.
And not. I mean, if there's not a blended family, like we're not gonna, we'll have different families. But what
you relate because that's your story as well.
There's a part. And in the world, but in the church world a lot that, you believe whoever you want to believe. We believe in Jesus. You know what I mean? This isn't not for you if you don't go to church, but that's, our faith. That's what we believe is. I've had people tell John and I, we went to this church, but, I've got 2 kids and he's got 2 older kids and we didn't really fit into this group and they were nice, and then we don't know. And just of recent, we've had people say, only reason we stayed at this church because we were here that day. You guys gave your testimony. Wow. And then they're telling John gets their numbers and starts talking to the wife and the husband, because they're a blended family. They had been, all these things. Yeah. So people out there, so they know, it's easy for us to sit in here and go, because we downplay the storm sometimes, not that we are, but we're like, we went through a storm, but then now wait till you watch that video. It's amazing, right? And they'll overlook the pain. Like sometimes we look at the diamond and don't look at the pressure that it went through, right? So now that you guys are married, you went through the years, you went through the divorces, the kids. As a power couple that I know you both personally, I know, how you operate, integrity and love and then how do you navigate for anybody who's out there, maybe they just got together and she's got kids and he's got kids and they dealing with things. What is your guys' how do you navigate the tough times? The things are like, hey, maybe the kids aren't agreeing, or hey, Eddie's, hey, buddy, like me, this is how it is. And mom's like, wait a minute, though, but this is my baby that I do this.
So for us in a blended situation, I think the biggest takeaway and to our success as a young couple is communication.
That's it.
We say away, like, hey, man, we ain't going to bed like this. Like, if you got egg on your face, man,
you need a
say
minute
something.
You got to step away.
Breathe and collect your thoughts because
it depends on how you were raised.
Words are big, and you don't want to say the wrong word because these are babies we're also talking about. And then it's also our feelings as a couple.
Right.
So it's like you
so
have
many
to
dynamics.
Take a minute.
Right.
But we said, go ahead.
And our exes are different than obviously us.
Right.
So I'm way different than her ex.
Right.
And she's way different than my ex.
Right.
So when it comes
down, they're exes?
True story. So when it comes down to like her and I and how we navigate and deal with stuff, there's sometimes where I go, well, look, this is the way that I would do it, but I need your stamp because your kids are listening to their dad say different things that I don't say, and they need your stamp, like you said, Jahnna, and that
So
way,
important.
that way they go, okay, so I can listen to him, Mom, because Buddy's saying otherwise.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's tough for the kid because they're like, well, same thing happens with mine. You know, well, why are you calling her mom? She's not really your mom. And I'm going, well, I mean, technically, the momager of the rap group back when I was 11 years old, shout out Mary, I love you. You know, I called her mom.
Right.
You know, it was
She's
that
doing
thing.
mother stuff.
Well, it's love. It's a feeling that they
it's
get.
the love.
Like
Doing
they're
mother stuff.
forcing it.
100%. So it's like, come on now, you know, don't get so
I think
into your
if
feels.
sometimes, you know, exes and stuff like that, and we've kind of got a thing where she realizes what Jahnna's doing. Like she calls him your mom.
Right. It's
And
a
she's
respect
the
thing. It
bio-
happened,
she
it happened
realizes.
after time. And
Oh yeah,
years
it didn't
and
happen right
consistency.
away. You know what I mean? You're going to
Yes.
deal with that, and it might not ever happen.
Right.
But I'm saying,
So for us, we just
You know.
realized like, okay, so we got to communicate and we got to be honest and open with each other.
Absolutely.
So previously in her relationship, she was always shut down. Like,
Right.
you know, if she didn't agree with, you know, what he said and whatnot, it was like, okay, World War 54.
Stonewall.
Or just whatever.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
Yeah.
just do what you want.
Yeah.
Not,
Right,
you know,
right,
like,
right.
And she just shut down. So, you know, and then of course mine, it was like a whole different thing.
different world, right?
Tornado.
Yeah. So, I was very cautious of knowing her past
Right.
and her triggers.
Right.
Mhm.
So if I would see she's got something to say, I go, all right, now, when you're ready,
Mhm.
you say what you got to say.
Mhm.
and then, and sometimes I go, I have nothing. I don't want to talk.
And
I have nothing to
okay.
say. And he's like, no, yes,
Cool.
you do. I can
That's
do
She
because
had to
that's your
change
and,
that
normal thing.
and I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about it. You know,
Right.
it's just because that was
Yeah,
like
the
a
normal.
defense mechanism.
Yes.
So I said,
Well, you know.
we'll catch that. We'll catch back up on it. And then
Right.
and then sometimes it's healthy to let the dust settle.
Right.
Mhm.
Because if you talk too
Yeah.
early, too premature,
You're going on emotion.
and you're getting hostile,
Yeah.
and then you're starting to fight each other
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
the situation.
The situation.
Right.
And I often, she'll hear me all the time say, babe, this isn't directly targeted at you.
Right.
I love you. I think you're amazing. I think you're fantastic.
Well, you're already
know
ahead.
that.
You're starting off with compliments. That's how, I mean, you're already starting off with strengths.
Well, I want to
Yeah.
set the tone.
Yeah.
Because, you know, oftentimes, like I tell people, you got to fight right.
Mhm.
You know, people fight, but you got to fight
Well,
right. And
right.
there's no sense of fighting wrong
Mhm.
and then starting to bash and hurt each other and take shots, because then that's not going to solve anything.
No.
What is the goal? The
Right.
goal is to come a resolve. And I'm big.
That
we as a
healthy
Puyol
fighting
family.
is good.
Yeah,
And
100%.
You've got to. Because
Well,
if
you fight-
can't
you fight
talk
in
about
life-
it and get it.
You fight in life, period.
Yeah, you don't.
You're driving down the road. There's an accident in front of you. You're fighting traffic. You're
Right,
trying
yeah.
to figure out where to get to your destination. So
Right.
there's always
You
times
have to talk about it and
that you're
put
gonna
it
go through
and
something.
get it taken care
Yeah,
of.
so I'll go, hey man, I'm big on figuring it out. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like what we got to do to make a resolve. Like I don't want to leave an issue out there. Like
Right.
I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
You know, even in work and coaching and life
Everything,
and friendship,
right.
whatever it is, even down to cooking.
Mhm.
You know, what we gonna have to dinner tonight? Well, we got to figure it out. Okay,
Right.
and what do we got? And
Yeah,
and
what do we got?
you
Which
know,
I
we put
love,
together.
by
Right.
the way.
Oh, man.
On time.
Come
You
on.
guys are on time. Very rarely is somebody
Yes.
telling me, "Are you ready to go?"
That's right.
I was like, "Well, I'm just letting them relax." You like, "Ready to go?" Leaving
That's
in
right.
5. I'm like, "Oh,
Listen,
wait
man,
a
we
minute.
run
This
a
my
tight
little
ship.
We
brother
around
right
definitely
here.
run a
Let's
tight
go."
ship.
Yes.
Right, and
Four
I
young
love,
kids.
I
Yes.
love, I love throwing down, man.
Yeah.
I talk about something that you learn in storms.
Right.
Well, prior I was told that I shouldn't have, at least 50-50 of my kids,
Mhm.
custody wise, because I couldn't cook.
Mm.
Now the kids call
That's
me
the
Chef Dada.
craziest thing.
Okay, Chef
I mean, it's
Daddy
not
over
like
here.
you were on heroin. You shouldn't have your kids because you can't cook. Well, buddy, it's 2024. There's DoorDash.
Right.
Buddy,
I mean,
But I took that challenge,
Right.
Yes.
and I was
That's
like,
enough.
okay,
You
word.
can fight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How
So
you gonna fight?
I'm going, well, let me see. Because I mean, I could. I didn't often because in the previous, it was like, well, she did some cooking, so I really didn't have to throw down like
Right.
that. But hold up. Like, I'm not incompetent. Like,
Right.
I know
Yeah.
I can make some mean eggs.
Right.
Yeah,
You
I know my way around the kitchen.
Yeah, I
right?
can make some noodles.
But I could figure it out. I could do different things, burgers and chickens and
Yeah.
little by
That's
little.
crazy.
I
Now we
started
got a
falling
menu
in
with
love.
all
I
these
started falling in
numbers.
love with the art, and I was going, yo, watch this
Cooking's
creating.
fun.
On top of that, I'm a creative, so
Mhm.
I
She loves to
was
cook.
able to create different things right there.
Right.
So I'm big into problem solving. So for us, the biggest takeaway that we deal with in relationships, in our relationship, is understanding as a blended family, we have to problem solve.
Absolutely.
What's going on? What are we dealing with? What is something that we have to, come to grips with, understand, figure out,
what are some
and attack?
solutions?
But every blended family, I mean, I think the kids are the biggest challenge.
Absolutely.
Because it's yours and mine, but
Right.
now we're ours. So how do you
get by that?
Well, how do I say, okay, yeah, no, you can do all the things that dad does because you are, whether it's stepdad or dad, you're dad in our house.
In your home.
Right.
And that's the thing that I used to take in like, well, but we got to, your house is your house.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody paying the light bill, but you paying the light bill. Ain't nobody buying the food. Ain't nobody leaving, getting up on time with you. So what happens over there, you can't control that, but you can control what happens there and your values and how you're going to do it.
But amazing that actually in a blended situation where you have exes, if they haven't resolved their issues,
they
strive to control your house.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm big with her going like, yo, how is somebody else going to tell me how to raise my kids and do life in my house?
Yeah.
You have to cut the chaos.
Well, as time goes on too, and only because we've been doing this now, 13 years or whatever it is, it took a long time for us to get to where we are now, blended. That stuff will start getting cut. And eventually, as we talk, there'll be bids and you'll get it. And that's why we love being with, because everybody can learn. We can learn stuff from you. You can learn stuff from us.
Yeah.
That
like
stuff will control it.
Yeah.
It can control it if you let it control it.
Right.
And you have to be in agreement. And it's hard. There's no like, oh, well, we prayed to Jesus and wrote a song and now we don't worry about the ex and what they think. That's not the real world, my man.
That's not life.
That sounds great on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
But that ain't the picture. We're the happiest family ever. No, there's sometimes I just want to grab my kid and whatever. And I see a text come from the ex and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this today, right? That's the real world, man. You know what I mean? It's navigating through that.
And not only, but as a woman, I had to learn that, okay, I was trusting David with my heart, right? Just like you had to learn that you're trusting Eddy with your heart. So I also have to trust his heart with my kids' hearts.
Right.
That's right.
So once I kind of came to grips with that and realized that okay, if I love him enough to trust him with my heart, then I need to love him enough and trust him with my kids' hearts. So what he says, I need to understand that it's in a good place.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not vindictful. It's not mean. It's not controlling. It's coming from a healthy place, which I didn't have a healthy place before. Right. So in that, then I would trust David. And it took me quite a few years, because I was still operating in guilt.
Well, your
and shame
mom,
and,
right.
Yeah.
It's
and
like
Mama Bear, right?
Mom's protecting for everything and
100%.
standing up for it.
That's right.
Well,
That's what we do.
When we first actually got married, we read this. I don't know if it was a devotional. It was something that was about blended families are like a crock pot.
Yes.
Right.
So
It's
you
so
have
true.
meat, potatoes, carrots.
it's all
Not
in
everybody
there.
warms up. Not everybody softens at the same times. And it's like, sometimes I have to remind myself to go back to that because it's like, I love you. I love all of the kids, but sometimes maybe that carrot is not fully soft yet. So they're having a little bit of an issue. And it's like, it's like, so how do you try to navigate that? Because we have 6 personalities in our house.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And out of kids, 3 are girls and 1 is a boy.
Curling irons and blow dries and times of the month that Eddy don't.
Now we're asking
Times
for
of the
makeup.
eventually. I don't want to
now.
rush
Don't
it to you,
speed
just
time.
wait.
but there will eventually be times when all you do is smile and shake your head, my man. And I'm going to tell you right now, on Sunday morning, woo! But
fat.
with that being in, we got to reel it in, guys. I want to tell you both that we love you guys.
Right back
And
at
we're
you.
proud of you.
Yes.
We're proud of you because some people wouldn't want to give another chance. Some people wouldn't want to open up and do this. And you're giving love another chance, which God's going to do such great things.
Yes.
Your ministry, and not just your music, is going to be even more with her behind because she's got Eddy's best interest.
1,000.
And even though you've got your best interest in hand, you got a big heart. So you'll drive 400 miles and do something and pay by the time you come home, where she's going to be looking out for your best interest and your family, because it's all buying back your time. Right. The reason why I do certain things is to buy back my time so I can spend it with my family, because that's where it all starts. So it's only going to get better, change. And you guys are a power couple. And the reason why we need it is because there's other couples that need you guys because they need your story from the very beginning. And, man, like I said, we love you. Get in the links, check out the music, check out the videos. I'm telling you guys, you're not going to be disappointed. Like, subscribe, share, go in, follow, and do it all. We love you guys. What would you tell them out there? What's the going away, man? Say something.
All right, so the takeaway, the bounce back is real. Okay, that's to me something that Corinne and I are
bounce back champs is what we call ourselves.
We're living that reality. Like we literally hone in and go, we are the bounce back champs because, like you heard, to give love another try and another go after being, mangled and defeated,
lied on,
and, just abused mentally, emotionally, the whole nine, and to give somebody and trust somebody with your heart again is not easy. And for me as a man, it was like negative ghostwriter, not interested, because we're supposed to be strong and protective, not only of others, but ourselves, So God restored my heart. I'm so thankful for Corinne. I love you dearly.
Love you too, baby.
And we're thankful for Relentless Hope, man. And just so you guys know, give your dreams another go.
That's right.
Because sometimes when you let them sit too long, they get stale and crusty. You got to dust them off. And it may not be all cool right away, but just start little by little. Small steps, man. I heard somebody say a long time ago, man, small tweaks lead to big peaks.
That's right.
And
that's good.
That's where we're at right now.
Small tweaks
bang.
lead to big peaks. We love y'all out there. Deuces.